Hi and welcome to Phoenix Crypto. My name's Andy and welcome to another edition of Market Watch. So we'll keep this one quite brief today. We've got here the bull market support band and the 2-week MACD here. You can see that we're still well below. You can see we've retraced back up. That's been quite a decent bounce, I guess, over the course of that 2 weeks. We've got a couple of days left before, 2.5 days before this 2-week period closes, obviously, and that's going to be very interesting to see what happens next. Do we come down, as many think we might, particularly to these July or the May to July lows, and retest there and try and get a bounce to get some liquidity? Or will we drop even further, and there's speculation that we might hit, I think if I go to the weekly, I think it's the 200 EMA. Let's just make sure if this is right. No, that is absolutely not right. Actually, tell a lie, it's not the 200 EMA. I think it was the 200 SMA. But even still, the SMA is a little bit lower, I think. I think it's over here somewhere. But you can see there would be quite a substantial drop, even just to the EMA. You can see here on the weekly, this candle's bit of a doji there, so not really doing anything at this point. So it's moved steadily up and down through the course of the week. I think most people who's been trading this week would have found it quite steady. I must admit, none of my trades have set the world alight, I'll be honest. Just looking at this MACD on the weekly here, that's I'm optimistic looking at that candle that maybe we might get one of these ones, the lighter colour signalling a move back up. Maybe. I'm reaching a little bit, but it would be nice, wouldn't it, to have something slightly different. Although I'm not averse to dropping through the floor and grabbing that liquidity. I'm not averse to that at all. Looking on the two weekly. Yeah, we've got to. It's very difficult to say what's going to happen next. We really need to see the next 2 weeks. If you look here, I mean, obviously we had a massive drop on there, and then largely we kind of fluctuated, but stayed within a bit of a range last year. And then we obviously had this one which dropped down quite more significantly, where here we've dropped down steadily, barring this one. Quite consistently. There's not been much upside here, not been much upside here. This did, and it obviously tested the bull market support band and rejected off there, and then obviously this one tested again and rejected off there, which then really caused the next 4 weeks worth of movement down. So I suppose on a macro scale, that's what's going on. We can have a look at the daily and see how that is looking. Zoomed a minute too much. Let's have a look. So we're massively below. We're having a bit of a red day at the moment, but it's still within this range here that we've been sat in. Below the 200 EMA there as well. I can edit this quickly and look. Let's look at what we might be doing on, say, the 20, just to see. So that's coming down, but we're still well below. So on the daily, we're some way away from really testing any of the, I suppose, even close to being important moving average lines. I would hazard a guess. The only thing I would say on the MACD, that's coming round, but then looks like it's curving slightly back outward again. Could that be that we're going to come back down over here? Not sure. I think that's got a bit of time to play out. And let's look at, so this is obviously the channel that I drew a number of days ago. So it's quite a big channel. So we are sat, if I can move this out of the way, let's zoom in. We are sat in the middle. So you've got the middle line here. So we've got back above it. And as the channel's coming down, although we're not really going up, the channel is kind of coming down to us. And we are, I suppose, feeling slightly higher in that channel, even though it wasn't that long ago where over here would have been closer to that middle. So as the channel's coming down, as time's moving on, we're moving slowly up to this channel again, and we know what happens when we test at the top of that channel. So something to bear in mind, although we are having a bit of a red day right now and are coming down, you can see here. And if I zoom in, and let's actually take that channel, let's take that out, so that makes it a little bit easier. So you've got the counterbands here from Cryptograph, and got some fib lines here, which are from an indicator from Lonesome the Blue, but I like these because I'm lazy, and they work pretty well. You know, I mean, it's got exactly the space that we're trading, so that's all I need to know at this point. You know, you could have obviously other type of fib lines going to different time frames and things like that, but this is working for me at the moment. And largely, you can see there we hit that. So I entered a trade. I can't exactly remember when I entered it, tell the truth. Let me consult my trusty phone. So when did I enter? 36,675. So 675. So I entered a little bit over here. I guess it was a good few hours ago now, and it got a little choppy. I think my stop loss was over here somewhere. I think this flicked up, but didn't stop me out. I think my stop loss was about 36,902, if I remember rightly, and I did it because on a slightly different time frame, I could see it was just over a wick. So when we went up and had that little mini pump, I didn't get stopped out, which was good. And obviously we've dropped down since. Something of interest, nice blood diamond on the 3 hour, which is obviously confirmed. Blood diamond on the 4 hour, which is confirmed. And then we've got one on the lovely, beautiful 8 hour. So we're having a bit of a red day. And we've had a lot of those lately. And I think a lot of us wouldn't mind some really good green days. Not the band, you know, but just to change it up a bit. Although I'm not averse to shorting the market. So this is dropping, I think, as we speak. So we can see where this is going to go. What is notable is you can see that is, I think, the 20 EMA. So we've rejected off here, really, and that's caused that, you'd argue, on the 8 hour. I think if I look down to the 1, if I jump, you can see that we've now dipped. We've now dipped. There's I think there's a 20, 50, and 100 EMA all here, and we've dropped below all of them. So not a bad time to short when you've dropped below and you close below. And for those looking at strategies, you know, what I would argue is I would have entered on this candle, and I would set stop loss above the wick. Okay, that's the way. If you trade off EMA lines, that's what I would have done, and that would have netted you a nice profit. And it's not a bad. It's quite a simplistic strategy. It can't be traded always like that, but you know, on Bitcoin's got such a large market cap. You need quite a lot of money to move it in one direction or the other. So 1.32% doesn't sound like a lot, but with leverage, you know, you can do 10x and make decent profit. And profit's profit, right? Yeah, there's no such thing as bad profit. So as I like to say to people, so you know, that's dropping the moment here. You can see there's some trend lines that have been drawn. These green dotted lines. I'm not sure how strong that they are, but we're obviously dropping here. You know, I can imagine that we might come back up again and just sit over here a little bit. If I was to look at the 1 hour on here, on this is VMC Morpheus, we can have a look. VWAP isn't really pointing up. It's kind of curving like it might curve down a little bit further. So that we might have more downside. It doesn't look like you know, longs are imminent, or at least not on the 1 hour. And if I look at the 2, it's curving round. That's looking like a nice juicy Trigger wave, if that fully forms, that might be quite nice. 3 hour, same. You can probably draw a trend line through there. That's looking quite nice. So, we might have some upside at the end of this. 4 hour, yeah, but that's okay. That is okay. You know, that's not bad. But we probably do need quite soon to kind of start heading up if that was to play out. So the beauty of trend lines, to visually see where there might be support and resistance. If we look at the daily, coming round, we haven't really had enough of an upside on here, if I'm honest. There hasn't been enough momentum, really, I would say. And I think anything we do have looks like it would be primed to be a even more powerful trigger wave for a move down. Could I see that happening? Yes. What would that target be? Probably from where we are is probably the 29k range, 29, 30k, and then after that, I think we're probably looking at targeting either the 200 EMA or the 200 SMA on the weekly, as I mentioned a little bit earlier. So what else might we want to look at here? I mentioned these the trend lines here from the channel. Let me just zoom that in a little bit. I mean, we are getting, these are coming closer and closer to us. Where are we now? Low 36. This is up to, 38, 39. Could I see us get there? Probably not from where we are right now, but, it is getting closer again. So it'll be interesting to see whether we can get to that point. We've obviously got some support here, which has held. Which is good. I think we might drop. I don't know if we'll drop today, but do we need to drop, test this, and get some liquidity to move up? Is there enough liquidity here? Not terribly sure. If I'm brutally honest, not terribly sure. So would like to consult probably a different tool. I don't have it available at the moment, but I am looking to get it, which is High Block Capital. Check it out. I think it's about $100 a month. If you get it on a monthly subscription, it might be around $75 if you get it on annual. But in that, it will show where there's a lot of liquidation points, and market makers like to chase and hunt the stop loss and liquidation points of people. So, it might be it's decided that it wants to grab some liquidity down here. Will that help us breach that? I don't know. I think we would need some massive, this has been very difficult, and we've been trading it for, you can see, a couple of months now. This is going to be a bugger to get past. So, it's going to need something really, really good. So, could I envisage something where we kind of do this? Yeah, I could. I would argue this is the most important trend line in crypto. We get past this, I think we're back on. I'm not saying that we're going to 100k the next week, right? But this has been so difficult, and I think we're getting closer and closer to a decision point. Only because, I think if we got into the low 30s again, I think that would be a very cheap price for Bitcoin to be buying at. You got to bear in mind that a lot of whales have been buying Bitcoin at 40k. So why buy at 40k when you can get it at 30k, right? So they can offload a whole load of 40k bought Bitcoin and then rebuy it again at 30k. Where there's enough liquidity for people to buy at this current price is another matter if they offloaded a large amount. So that's probably the only thing I might question, really. So if we break this, we could be operating in this space, but you can see, this is the 1st of March. We can put a line there. So I find the vertical line, there we go. the price intersecting here, 28.5. You know, if we steadily move, even go beyond that, you know, beyond the realms of possibility, to get to 20k, you're talking towards the back end of March. So I think this will get resolved by the end of March. You know, so this quarter we'll get past. I think we'll get past this. I think if we're still here, end of March, around the 20k, we're testing that 200 SMA. We bounce off that. You know, we will surely there'll be enough liquidity. There'll be enough people interested. What I would also argue is we get down to this, and this has been a proper bear market in the same way as every other bear market. And actually, we should probably be calling this a bear market anyway, because we've had more than a 50% drop. You know, that is no small correction, right? But over here, you know, we'd be looking in around about the 70%. I think I did this in the last video. It's around over 70%. So, you know, that is, you know, I know a lot of people talked about 80, but, you know, what's 10% when you've lost 70, right? That is quite a considerable drop. Getting past this, you know, bouncing off the 200 SMA, very, very important. And I think that'll be a great time to buy and hold. You know, really, that would be the confirmation for me that we're probably going to go on the upside. Might take a bit of time. You know, I'm not saying we're going to hit all-time highs anytime soon. We're not going to get to these heady heights very quickly. We might have, you know, peaks and troughs as we float around, maybe in the high 30s and maybe the 40k, you know, range, maybe even low 50s. You know, so, you know, it's very possible if we've got a decision point in March, it's very possible that it could take April, May, you know, could take a bit of time. You know, and I would argue if we're really getting into that time frame, you know, our bear market would have kicked in November. It's already been 3 months. End of March will probably be 5 months. You know, another 2 months, you know, on top of that, before we get to like a lift off. You know, that's okay. That's okay. You know, will we class that as a new cycle? I don't know. A lot of people are still talking about extended cycles. I don't think it really matters. You know, you're either in a bull run or a bear market. You know, it is bearish. There's no way around it, and it looks like it will continue. You know, that's okay. This is healthy, although painful, particularly for those who lost some money. You know, and I spoke to a few people, you know, longing here and DCAing into their losing position, and losing even more. You know, which is bad news. You know, so you know, yeah, this could end up being about 7 months. You know. I think there's some bear markets that have been 9 months. I think there's been another one that's been over 12 months. So, you know, 7 months is quite short, but it's still a reasonable, significant period of time. Whereas, you know, you look at what we had in the summer, you know, that May to July, you know, that was only 3 months. You know, so you know, this is probably necessary. So yeah. So short term, bearish, definitely bearish. You know, got to see where we're going to bounce. Is it going to be here? Is it going to be off a fib level? Are we going to, is this just a start? We're going to drop down? I don't see that happening. I don't feel that there's enough volatility in the market to kind of get us there. I think we might come back up in the next 4 hours. We might curve round, and you know, I think we might come back up over here. I don't know if we're quite going to get to a height where we're going to test this trend line. So going to be interesting few days, but certainly I think you know, you can see as we're getting closer and closer, you know, there is going to be more volatility, and you can argue this has been fairly steady for a number of days. So there is going to be more volatility, I am sure, in the coming days ahead. If you like the content, press the like button, subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much for joining me, and I'll catch you again.